And welcome back to another edition of No Filter Sports. I'm your host, Brian. Well, this says Brian 3SL. But we have Trump is sports. We've done other shows. He's been good Trump. He's been the bad Trump. No, not the bad Trump.
I can be the bad Trump.
Yeah, it can be bad in other things.
Exactly.
But all in all, he's back with us. We got some very interesting things. Again, we always go away for a while because we need to consume all this stuff. Sports is piling in like you're emptying out a big box of cereal into a big bowl, and we want to eat this up and enjoy it, and we have. So congratulations again to the Lakers and another Los Angeles team, the Dodgers, for winning their World Series recently.
Yes.
I caught the final outs when the Dodgers won. With the best way to end a championship, especially in baseball, is a strikeout or a swinging strikeout, and that's how the Dodgers won it. So congratulations to them. And all in all, did you catch? I know you've been saying about the World Series being. Do you like the format? You just wish that the season would be shortened, just like how it was this season. So did you catch any of the final games of the World Series or no?
I caught the final game. It was good. It was good. It was good. It was a lot of drama at the end because everybody's thinking, okay, Tampa Bay is gonna come back. Tampa Bay is gonna come back, and they didn't. But did you hear about your boy Justin Tucker running around there with COVID?
What?
After the game? You didn't hear?
No.
The Dodger, I think it's Justin Tucker. I think they pulled him in the 7th inning. I can't believe you didn't hear this because his COVID test came back positive and they pulled him in the middle of the game.
Oh, wow.
And then after that, he came back out on the field after the celebration to celebrate with the guys, and he didn't wear a mask. I can't believe you didn't hear this. It's all over the fucking news.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Look at it. Look on ESPN. See, it's on all of the sports sites. So now, so as soon as they got off the plane, they told all the Dodgers to quarantine immediately. So this dummy, you know what I'm saying? First of all, Major League Baseball, the middle of the game, I don't understand how that happened. But secondly, they told you had COVID. You knew before you went back out on the field to celebrate with them that you had COVID. You were positive. It wasn't a false positive. It was a positive. And you ran back on the field after to celebrate with them, and you were hanging around them, and you didn't have your mask on.
Wow. Yeah, Justin Turner, not Tucker. Justin Turner.
Turner, yeah.
Yeah, Justin Turner. Oh, wow.
Yeah. So to me, yeah, okay. So Major League Baseball, okay, y'all stupid for pulling them. But at the end of the day, if they told you had COVID and your dumb ass still ran out on the field, he needs to be punished. He needs to be suspended like he did steroids. He needs to be suspended for the first 50 games of next year.
Oh, wow.
Because your manager had cancer before.
And
you were sitting right next to him in the team picture with no mask on. So you basically were like putting him that you could put his life in danger if he doesn't come back positive. His ass needs to be suspended like he did steroids. 50 games.
Sadly enough, think about this. Sadly enough, that entire team that celebrated probably got it.
They have to. If they don't have it, then now COVID is confusing as fuck. But they have to. He was laughing and talking. He had the nerve to have his mask on sometime and then not other times. I'm like, man, you might as well just take the motherfucker off, just cough on everybody.
Ah, damn.
Yeah. He knew he had it. Yeah, he did it anyway. Nobody else should be responsible but him. I don't care. Or Stephen A. Smith talk about, it's a victory celebration. You know, the man won the world title. Okay, here's the fact. And I don't give a F what Stephen A. say. There's no excuse for this. If you know you have COVID, you don't go around anybody else, especially if you have a manager who has previous health issues. Now they're going to go back to their families, still awaiting their test results, not knowing if they got it, and who knows the situations with all of their families and who they're around with their families and everything. Come on, man. So people could die. They probably won't, but people could die You never know if they get this, all because you wanted to come back on the field and celebrate a world title.
Why didn't he? Okay, no. Okay, this is all news to me right now. How is it that you pull him off the field, knowing full well he is contagious? Why didn't you lock him in the locker room, or better yet, send him home,
Well,
or send him back to the hotel?
I agree with that. Now that's where Major League Baseball could have had security, like you can't come out on this field.
That makes no sense, because when the NBA had, I think they only had one mess up early on during the bubble, and they locked him out. They pretty much sent him. They kept him in his room for when he that kid who broke the rules there. We already knew what the Phillies and the Marlins did early in the season, and the St. Louis Cardinals situation. They had to do some suspensions there. Actually, Major League Baseball, they pretty much and getting into the NFL, the Titans are getting fined for their incident.
Good.
And I mean, mind you, this is like you are endangering lives in a sense. Mind you, we kind of went back and forth about should sports come back and all that stuff. But since it's here, we kind of accepted it. But at least they've taken the full precautions. Now it's up to the individuals who are working these games to maintain their status, a negative status.
This was on Justin
Turner.
Turner. This was all on him. He knew he had it, and he didn't. All he was thinking about was himself. He'd be like, I understand you won the title. You want to get back on that field. Okay, cool. You won the title. You're going to get your fucking ring. Eventually, you'll get to hold the trophy. You putting everybody else at risk, not knowing anybody's background or health situation.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know it. Just because you feel good, the next person who get it may not feel good. You know what I'm saying? And your manager had fucking cancer before. You sitting right next to him in a team picture with no mask on.
Weird.
No, I'm like, if that ain't selfish to me, I don't know what is. That was fucking selfish. In Major League Baseball, what they gonna do? Forcibly hold them from coming out on the field? At some point, you got to take personal responsibility. So find his ass, suspend his ass for 50 games to start off the next season, and that's what he needs to have happen.
Yeah. Oh God.
What a way to dampen the World Series win.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Oh God. Oh yeah. But anyway, still, congratulations to the Tinseltown, the Dodgers and the Lakers for winning their titles. Up next is supposed to be college football bowl games. Who knows? Because
I don't know what's going on with college football.
No one does, because here's one mild complaint I have, and then we'll go to a real more serious story. This past weekend this is now the second weekend of the Big Ten coming back. So the last weekend they had their first games. Now the polls have been out, and this is why I hate college football and their stupid polls. So the polls have been out, and the top 5 teams that I noticed, you had Clemson, you had Bama, but the third team I saw was Ohio State. And I'm like, wait a minute, they haven't played yet. How in the world you haven't ranked third in the nation? They haven't even played yet. I mean, the other teams have been playing for like good 4 to 5 weeks so far, and you got a team who's yet to even at the time questioning to have a season, and you now have them ranked third. I'm like, this is where I feel that I hate college polls. I don't know where to get them, and I kid you not, I've heard stories about this. And whenever they did like the coaches polls, the coaches don't fill them out. They give them to some assistant to fill those things out. And full well it's like they do not watch all the games that they're seeing. It's like it's either a popularity contest or who they figured it's like they'll throw a dart and it's like, oh, okay, we'll take Michigan State today. That's how they feel and that's how they're thinking. And I'm sick and tired of shit. And in addition to that, it's part of the equation for these for going into the college playoffs, which I think is a farce. And it's like, come the fuck on. This team hasn't even played, and you got them ranked 3rd in the nation. Are you serious? I mean, based off of what? They haven't practiced until like about a month ago, and you got them 3rd in the nation.
Well, well, I'm not really a real college football person. I watch it here and there and here. But what, in my opinion, they should have just stuck to conference championships this year.
Yeah,
just play within your conference. All that national ranking and shit that ain't gonna work this year.
no,
it ain't gonna work. This is 1 year where you 1 year where everything, all the rules are out the window this year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, everything. If you're expecting shit to make sense this year, you're a fucking fool because nothing is going to make sense. And the people that are trying to make it make sense are going to get disappointed. There should be no top 25 this year. There should be no BCS this year. It's all conference championships. Now, with the winners of the conference championships, if you want to do something with the winners of the conference championships, okay. But no rankings. No rankings. Maybe the ACC champion versus the Big Ten champion, and have a if you want to do something special and have a bowl out of that, go back to the old days. You know what I'm saying? Where you had a bowl, but the BCS and the rankings this year is not going to work.
No, I mean it just angers me for years that I can tell like no team, no mid-major team, no team that is trying to do the come up is going to be even recognized for the sense of the fact of just of being a top tier team anymore because of these stupid polls.
Yep.
I feel it's like no. I mean, I've seen for years. When I've seen Boise State where they were on top, TCU, Texas Christian when they had good season, a couple of good seasons, and they don't even they barely get recognized. And the main complaint is I always hear this from the national media. They always say the fact of, well, because of the fact that they play at night, they're playing at the West Coast. We really don't see them. Blah. You see Washington, you see USC, you see UCLA all the fucking time, and they get ranked half the majority of the time. You can't see TCU from time to time. Baylor. I mean, hey, let's talk about Central Florida at least once. I mean, for goddamn sakes, these teams are kicking ass and playing the same amount of games as all these top tier big school, big conferences. And again, you put in a team who is yet to play within 5 weeks and were questionable of playing in this entire season, ranked 3rd in the nation. Yep. I'm calling bullshit. Straight up bullshit.
It's all about.
And I agree with the fact it's just to be conference champions, just conference games, conference championship, and call it the day. I don't need bowl games because bowl games don't mean bullshit anyway.
Yeah, everybody's scheduled out of whack this year. You already got Clemson, who Trevor, the quarterback, is not going to be playing. Trevor Lawrence,
because he has COVID.
So what's going to happen if okay, let's say another quarterback steps in. Clemson's good enough to probably win without him, but let's say they don't. You know what I'm saying? And because of him, they lose. This whole season's out of whack. This is the 1 year where the rankings don't mean shit.
Right.
But they're so pressed to get they got to get their BCS thing in there. That's money. They got to get it in there. So that's, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Anywho. All right. Got to get that anger out there. There was my no filter rant, but here's another no filter rant. All right. Most recently, the NHL, like I said, they just finished their season, and congratulations to the Tampa Bay Lightning for winning their second Stanley Cup title. They had their draft. And this story came out of the blue. Now, just like your story with Justin Turner, that was kind of surprising for me. This kind of also surprised. So this young player by the name of Mitchell Miller, he was drafted by the Arizona Coyotes. And the Coyotes, they had him, they drafted him in the, top, the first round and stuff. So everything was, figures like, okay, just like, any draft, You get the picture. Well, mind you, this was a virtual draft. So they said, hey, okay, here's your jersey. You've been picked, and then keep it moving. Then all of a sudden, these stories came out, and these were well-known stories because Mitch Miller, as of, let's say, when he was at school, and he ended up, sadly, picking on and bullying a black student, a female black student, and not only a female black student, she was disabled.
Hold on. When was this?
What the draft, or when he got drafted?
When this happened that he was picking on her?
This was when he was in college. So, and actually, correct that. It was in junior high school. I'm sorry, in junior high school.
And where is he now? He's in the NFL?
NHL, hockey.
And this happened in junior high school?
This is in junior high school. Now,
Why
mind you, in hockey, here's the thing. This was like he's 18. So, and this happened, this was well evident back in 2016 where this incident happened. And so within 4 years ago, when he was 14 years old, this became a major incident. So here's a statement from the Coyotes. The Coyotes said, prior to selecting Mitchell in the NHL draft, we were aware that a bullying incident took place in 2016. This is from the president of the Coyotes, Xavier Gutierrez. He said, he continues with stating, we have learned more about the entire matter, and more importantly, the impact it has had on Isaiah and the pretty much the whole entire Coyotes organization. So they pretty much decided to, they said he's a good player, but we need to do the right thing as an organization and not just as a hockey team. I like to apologize to pretty much everybody, to his family and everything that we have dealt with the past few months. Pretty much Isaiah and the Meyer Carruthers family, the family that was bullied by Mitchell. Mm-hmm. And we wish them all the future best and stuff like that. So pretty much the Coyotes said, look, we like you. You're a good player, but you got a bad attitude, and we didn't like what you did back in 2016, so we're dropping your ass.
I need to get a drink because I am so fucking sick of this cancel culture. I'm going to tell you what it is. I think it's a bunch of people who are doing the cancel culture who got bullied and shit when they were in school, and now this is the perfect time for them to come and get their revenge. I think the people who like this, who like people getting canceled. Now, if he did this 2 years ago or something like that, or I mean, he was in fucking junior high school. Do you know all the shit that I've done in junior high school people can bring back up to me and I'd be fucking out of it? Is that what we're doing now? Well, junior fucking high school?
Okay. Well, the thing is, I mean, mind you, you gotta know the fact that like this is everything is an image thing. Everything is an image thing.
Why don't we go back to elementary school? I mean, that's right before junior high school. Let's go back to elementary.
I understand that, but hear me out. We've had a lot of people. Everyone that, okay, perfect example right now would be the Ray Rice situation, and what he did to his now current wife now. Yeah. I recently heard him on the radio because I haven't heard this dude since the Ravens let him go. And I heard him on the radio on, heading up to Baltimore, and he was on Baltimore radio, and he's talking about the Ravens and all that stuff. So pretty much he's an insider. And I'm like, it's like, oh, okay. So it's nice to hear his voice, but he's still able to play if he wanted to play, but it's been 7 years or so. And
keep talking, because now this is
so what I'm saying is it's I mean, a bad incident that was visual, which was known, which was reported and everything. It does reflect on the team in a sense of why did you keep this type of individual player on your team? Full well type of person he is. It's kind of the same sense of where you're not bringing in a good player. Are you bringing in a good person? Because you're going to present this person out into the community. You're presenting this person out there who's trying to build a community, try to talk to community leaders or community activists and things like that. He's quote unquote part of your community now, and you're going to bring this guy in, and it's like, okay, you bullied not a black disabled woman.
Okay, what if it was a white disabled woman? Would that have been better?
Either way, I mean, it doesn't. To me, it's like again. This is about present. It's not only about presentation. It's about some integrity. I mean, to me, honestly, I'm with the Arizona Coyotes in saying no, we're not bringing you in here.
Let me start by saying, number one, people need to get a fucking life. That's one. Number two, it's so funny that everybody wants to be forgiven for shit they've done, but don't want to forgive. It's like, okay. For instance, let's here's a perfect example. Chad Dukes was fired today from 106.
Oh, I heard about that.
He was fired.
Yeah.
And I'm not making excuses for Chad Dukes because I always felt that the dude wanted to say some shit. He said some sneaky shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And finally, the shit caught up with him because maybe he was on a podcast and the dumb fuck got too drunk and said what he really felt. And it came out. So, number one, he's stupid for that. So I have no sympathy for Chad Dukes. I enjoyed this show. I think it was very entertaining. But have a fucking brain, dude. You know the fucking world we live in today. Unfortunately, it's fucking cancel culture, but the shit he said was fucked up, so he deserves it. However, I go on Twitter, and there's this guy who does this show called JP Finley, who's like one of Chad's best friends. So this one guy, not JP Finley, but another guy was like, good, that's racist fuck. Chad Dukes is gone, glad. So then I see that he also tweeted JP Finley like, you're his best friend, so I can imagine that what you think. You need to put out a statement, or your job is next. We've gotten to the point in this fucking society where these people who were bullied and laughed at when they were in school are finding a way now to pay back by getting the other people. It's like they're on a revenge tour because they can. If you say anything or do something these fuckers don't want, all they got to do is tweet your job, tweet your sponsors, contact whoever, contact the media, and brother, you're up out of there. So basically, everybody has to walk this fine line of almost being damn near perfect. Now, there are exceptions to the rule. Ray Rice, yeah, brother, you did what you did. He apologized. Should we beat on this motherfucker forever till the day he lives and he can't make a fucking living? No, he doesn't need to be beat on forever. He did something that was fucked up. He lost his job. Okay, people can also, there's a lot of people can recover. A lot of people are fucking sorry. But the society we live in with a bunch of cancel culture people, I think are motherfuckers who have finally found a way in society to get back at motherfuckers who they were fucked around and teased in school and shit. So now I'm going to cost you your job. You said something bad. You said something I don't like. Now I'm going to contact your job. I'm going to get you fired because you said something that you shouldn't have said. This country, and I don't want to hear anybody ever again use the word freedom of speech. We don't have it. I'm going to say something very controversial. They're racist in this country. Do they have a right to be racist? They can be whatever the fuck they want to be. You can't, but you can't go out and insult people, and you can't go out and physically harm people. Other than that, live a happy racist life. Mm-hmm. It's your right if you don't like people. Like, you can't make people like you. That's not going to happen. If a guy doesn't like black people, so what? If he goes out and just says, I don't like black people. Okay, cool. You can say that, but just don't call me out my name and don't physically touch me. Other than that, you can do whatever the fuck you want to do. This freedom of speech, people are walking on eggshells now because they can't say shit, and now we're digging up shit from junior fucking high school. But you know how many people I know who bullied And back then and all this, do you know, man, it would be so nobody would have a fucking job basically.
Okay. I get to what you're saying. But like I said before, I understand where the Arizona Coyotes organization is. I agree with what they did. I feel like, because, like I said before, it is an image thing. You're presenting this person to the community. It's like, look at our new draft pick, and he's going to be our new star for our team. And and full well, mind you, if they didn't put it out there, and if no one else dig it up, someone else will dig it up. I mean, the thing is, it's like, I'm not saying it's a cancel culture. It's a sense of like, okay, what do you want to? I understand. What do you want to present out there? Here's another story. I remember it was the Stanford swimmer. You probably heard about this. The Stanford swimmer raped a woman and got caught, only given a slap on the wrist, like a 6-month stupid probation thing, and still stayed on the Stanford swim team. It was based on the fact where the judge said, it's like, we don't want to hurt his career. So and it's like, what are you fucking talking about? It's like, this guy raped a woman.
That rape and what that guy did in junior high school, two different things. The guy raped the woman. Yeah, he deserved what happened to the guy on the hockey team should have happened to him. Rape is a felony. He should have been put in jail.
Right.
Okay, he should have put in jail, but there's no way you can compare the two. No fucking way. Rape is here. Like, what he did was in junior fucking high school, and now we're gonna get to the point where you're gonna be in 6th grade, and motherfuckers are gonna be pulling up shit you did in the 6th grade. You have to. It's gonna be to a point where you might not agree with somebody, but you have to, or you're gonna get in trouble. I don't want to live in a fucking society like that. Do you? Where you have to do this, and you have to do that, and you have to. Who the fuck wants to live in a society like that?
It's not about have to. It's more the sense of like, do you have respectability?
Respectability is objective. It's how you see it.
So do you feel like okay, if you were going to hire somebody and you found out, mind you, I submitted some jobs today, and I had to put in something within my past that I'm to this day I'm still angered about, because it was the reasoning of why I was dismissed or whatever, and I had to mildly explain it, and I knew full well it's like it was straight up bullshit, but knowing full well it's like, look, they're gonna the people are people who's gonna hire me, they're gonna talk to other people, find out how he was working here at this particular point in time and all that stuff. So knowing full well, it's like, look, people are going to dig into your past to see if you are perfectly fit into this present situation. And I feel it's like it's just like any job, as long as you're fully truthful and remorseful. The way I say it, mind you, yes, it was 4 years ago, but then again, it's kind of like it's still fresh in everyone's mind. It's still fresh in everyone's, because you're probably thinking it's fact. It's like, oh, can this girl, get over it? And it's like, I doubt it.
No, I'm not thinking about
a situation where she's,
I'm not thinking about being
disabled.
I'm not thinking about can she get over it. What happened to her was bad, but I think we are, as a society, man, it's like you do stupid shit when you're young because you don't know no better. You don't know no better, and when you get older,
I understand that. I did some bullying. It's same grade. I'm jigging it now. It's like there was this, mind you, at the time, I do regret it was bullying, but I really did like the girl, and it was the stupid thing that I was doing. She was a very attractive girl.
You're looking back on hindsight now. You didn't know then,
right?
So how would you like if you go out to a job now and they go all the way back to 8th grade and pull that, and then they don't hire you?
Well, then they're really digging deep.
Okay, well, still they're digging because today they do that shit. Do you think it would be fair?
It would be fair again to presenting yourself to where you are in a situation where a company, especially something like a sports franchise, is supposed to be about equality, about respectability, about fairness, and things of that nature.
Bruh.
I mean, that's something you have to think
You
about.
are not, and you're in middle school. You are not thinking about what this
I
company.
know that. I understand that. But then
Hiring you.
again, but then again, it gets to the point where it's like, okay, you have to talk to, that kid has to be talked about, the teachers have to talk to him, then the parents have to talk to him and all that stuff. And it goes on and on and on, So
we're gonna get to the point where our kids can't be kids. They got to live damn near perfect. They got to live from kindergarten through middle school, through high school, as if they're on a fucking job interview the whole time. Pathetic.
Sadly, they are.
Pathetic. They can't be kids. Kids do stupid shit. That's called being a fucking kid. Kids say stupid shit because they don't know no better. A fucking 14, 13, 14-year-old kid is not thinking about a job when he does stupid shit. You don't know. He's being a fucking kid. Now you in high school when you like 11th, 12th grade and you doing shit. Okay, then that comes more responsibility at that point because you know right from wrong, but you're just doing it anyway. You kind of forming your personality at that point. Junior fucking high school, bro. I mean, come on, man. Look, it's ridiculous. Nobody wants, and a lot of these companies want to hire these people. But they can't and they won't because they don't want to lose sponsorships because this fucking politically correct cancel culture will then tell their sponsors to cancel, to stop paying for them. So these jobs, and maybe the Arizona Coyotes too, probably say, damn, he fucked up. He made a mistake. It was junior high. It's a little tiny thing, but we got to let him go because if not, sponsors are going to leave. So they had no choice. And that's a fucked up culture we live in today. Fucked up.
You want to take a break?
It's fucked up, dog.
I get too.
You can't say what you want no more. You can't do. You're physically restrained because if not, somebody's gonna. If they don't attack the person who did it, if they're associated with you, they're gonna tell the people to stop fucking with you because you're associated with it. It's fucking mind-boggling. And these fucking people who are doing it are the politically correct jackasses who were bullied all their life and now trying to get payback. That's where this shit is coming from. It's revenge. It's the best revenge they can get right now.
I see. Well, we'll see what happens. I mean, mind you, if give it time, hopefully some counseling for everybody. He'll get a chance to come back.
Middle school. Come on, man.
Hey. I mean, it is what it is. But anyway, this Sunday, mind you, last Sunday we had the supposed, in this area, the big rivalry between Dallas and the Washington football team. And I was on a show on the Rip Radio Network called Real Talk Uncensored, where normally in the beginning of the show, they would just talk about, recap a little bit of football and then go into what they were talking about. So all of a sudden, I get into this, once they got to the talk about that game, because both hosts are, one's a Cowboy fan, the other's a Washington fan. And
no, I'm just laughing.
Yeah. And so, they talked about how the game was and all that stuff. And I come in, I just put in my 2 cents and I would just call it a day because I felt like it's like just to reiterate, to, bring in some, spit some knowledge to feel like this is how the things are the way it is. So all of a sudden, we fully focused on the entire NFC East and how horrible it is. And if you folks have looked into the standings and all that stuff, and I always I have an Instagram, I follow the NFL, NFL's Instagram, and they always display like, their division leaders and all this stuff. And I see division leaders currently with 5 or 6 wins. And then you look at the NFC East, who's led by the Philadelphia Eagles with a 2-4-1 record. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? And then you add on to this factor, you have the Washington team and the Cowboys with a 2-5 record. And you have the New York Football Giants with a 1-5 record, 1-6 record. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? And then all of a sudden, during the middle of the show, I ended up getting pulled into a conversation with one of their fans, and who was trying to defend the division. And I'm like, okay, let me hear this. So he giving me all this old school feedback of like, we were the beast of the East. We had Parcells, we had Joe Gibbs. We had, you got to understand that these are new coaches and all that stuff. And it's like, look, you have 3 out of the 4 coaches in these on this team where they went to the Super Bowl. You had 2 of them who won it. Mm-hmm. They have all this crazy talent you supposedly have, and it's not working. It's either Washington has been on this. I've said it once. I've said it a billion times. They've been one player away from going to wherever they're going. They've been saying that for over 20 years. No. Dallas, they're like, oh, we got the best talent. We got the best team. We're going to do big things. Blah, blah, blah. We've been hearing that for over almost 20 years, since their last Super Bowl. The Eagles, they've been so up and down, you don't even know if they're a contender or a freaking goose, because every time you figure they're doing great, they end up fucking themselves in the foot. So, and then there's the Giants, who has completely just dismantled themselves ever since they got rid of Tom Coughlin. So I'm like talking to this dude. He comes onto the show and he's trying to school me. And I'm like, dude, are you fucking serious? Serious right now. You're trying to defend a division that is just absolutely horrible. They are officially the worst division in the entire league right now. It's like, I get to the point where it's like, I had to explain to him, you're going to sit there and try to defend the fact that there is a possibility that there is going to be a division champion that will probably win the division below at least 2 games below 500, not just 1, possibly 2 games below 500, and get to host a playoff game. That is straight up bullshit. Now, I was complaining about Ohio State being ranked 3rd for not even playing yet. This here is even extremely bullshit. With the whole new format and everything, it's like, you're going to sit there and tell me that there is possibility that knowing full well it's the NFC East, this division will probably have a 6-10 team winning the division and hosting a playoff game. It's bullshit. And I had to, just after that show, I was like, why is this guy defending this division? Why? Because of what you remember back in the 80s? It's like, who gives a shit? It's what it is now.
Yeah, 80s don't mean shit today. That was the 80s. That was then, this is now. So what he was saying, he didn't have a leg to stand on, so that he had to go back in time. So here's my thing. I am hoping that the NFC East champion goes 6-10 and wins the division, because the only way the NFL changes shit is when shit happens. So here's the thing. Somebody 6-10 is going to win a division this year. Mm-hmm. Then there's going to be somebody in the NFC South that goes 10-6, 9-7, who will miss the playoffs. Mm-hmm. Somebody from the NFC East went, which is jacked up. When and if that happens, then the NFL is going to change their rules. And here's how I think they should do it. Playoffs should be based on record. Okay, you can win your division. Hell, you can even put up a poster where NFC East champions, but you ain't going to the playoffs because you're 6-10 and your record is not. You cannot lose more games than you won and have another team with a 3-4 games better than you and get into the playoffs yet host a playoff game. Mm-hmm. Just because you won your sorry ass division, when the team who missed out at 9-7 would have won your division by 3 games. So the NFL needs to, okay, we recognize you as the division champion. So you're the sorry division champion of a sorry division. You can get that crown, that trophy, that you can hang that banner up, but you're not going to the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to do it this year. It's too late. But after they see what happens to the NFC East this year, I'm praying somebody goes 6-10 and 5-11 because that's the only way they're going to change that fucking rule.
I agree. And here's the other thing that he tried to throw at me. He was trying to throw in the fact about the Seattle Seahawks and them going into the playoffs with a 7-9 record, and I think he was like trying to say it was Super Bowl 40, which wasn't true because the Seahawks won the division at that time.
No, yeah, the Seahawks were like 14-2 that year. What is he talking?
Yeah, so they were top tier team. So I mean, mind you, I know the Seahawks went into the playoffs they went into playoffs as a 7-9 team, and there's been a few teams who've gone in with a 7-9 record, but as wild card, barely as a division. And I think the Panthers won as a division champion with a 7-9 record because the NFC South at the time was horrible anyway. So, but again, the factor, like, one game below 500 is one thing, but possibly two. I mean, mind you, there's like 8 games left in the season, and it's like there is a possibility that they're going to be a 6-10 team going to represent the division.
How many division games are there? 4 teams in the division, so there's 6 division games, right?
Yeah, back to back, yeah.
So the most, and they're playing each other, so they're not going to. Nobody in that division is going to go 6-0. So you're not going to, and they can't beat anybody outside the fucking division. So somebody's going to win that division with a 5-11 or 6-10 record. I don't see anybody winning that division getting more than 6 wins. I don't.
Right. As the Eagles, I mean, I tried to put out there, it's like, look, I understand having Carson Wentz is a good quarterback, but he's been so up and down, it makes no sense. And especially during the years that he was injured, it's just like, okay, you don't have a guy reliable to back him up because you got rid of him because he was looking for a starting role. So, and he tried to say, well, Nick Foles didn't do great in Jacksonville because Jacksonville didn't have a fucking line and a decent receiving core. And him going to Chicago was pretty much, he's doing great in Chicago because Trubisky is a piece of shit anyway. And they never should have drafted him. So, and then he adds in the fact it's like, well, Dallas has got all these issues. And it's like, yeah, Dallas got a lot of issues. And Dak Prescott was, I said this to Miss Kiki, so shout out to her, as I told her through, like, when Dallas was after their 4th game, where they had to come back again, but they didn't come back to win it. I literally said to her, it's like, they can't keep doing this. There's something really wrong where they have to come back every time. And where it's like you're giving up a lot of points and you have to fight to come back. That Falcon game was well evident to where it's like, okay, there's something really wrong. When, mind you, the whole Falcon thing, they got a lot of problems there. But the Cowboys, when you had to come back that far back to win, and he's like, you can't keep doing that. And it happened again the following week. So and then Washington, look, it's a whole bunch of craziness and filibusters and all that bullshit. It's not even talked about. And Washington, the Giants again,
like the best fucking team in the division,
right? Well, they're the darlings now.
They would have been.
Everybody in Washington loves them now.
They would have been in first place if Ron Rivera hadn't chosen to go for 2 against the Giants.
Right. And as for the Giants, and the Giants, I mean, Barkley injury. I mean, the 2nd year he's been injured. Everything is kind of like, look, it's whatever they can. They'll try to finish the season as best they can. So, I mean, this division is just ratchet. So stinks. And you figured it's like, damn, really? I mean, this is what's going to be?
Yeah.
So, but by stating that, we again staying in the Baltimore, Maryland, Washington area, and I say Baltimore because this Sunday is part 1 of the actual rivalry that is the big rivalry
What time that game start?
Steelers and Ravens at 1:00, which I
Yes.
still think it's stupid. Because here's another complaint. So Steelers and Ravens is at 1:00. Guess what's the Sunday night game?
Please don't tell me the Cowboys.
Yep.
Cowboys and who?
Cowboys and Eagles.
Oh my God! Why don't they just go ahead and switch out of that?
It's too late. Here's the funny thing. Here's the funny thing. So yeah, we're going to talk about TV switching. So last week, like about a week prior, let's go 2 weeks ago. So NBC Sports, after their Sunday night game, I remember Chris Collinsworth. I think it was the Packers game or whatever. I forgot. But they were saying, "Oh, can't wait, go to Vegas. We're going to Vegas because the Buccaneers in Vegas and the Vegas Raiders were going to be next on their list." So I said, "Oh, can't wait." So, and because it'll be the first time NBC Sports will cover the new stadium and all that stuff, so it'll be all right, cool. Next thing you know, like about 3 days later, NFL put the announcement and switched them. Pulled him out of Sunday night, gave it to the Seahawks and Cardinals, which was a good game, I'd add, and put them on CBS, the late CBS Sunday game. And I'm thinking, it's like, okay, that's kind of fucked up, but okay.
Why did they do that? Was it because
that's what I'm thinking. But I figured it's like, since we got you just had Seattle like a few weeks ago against New England. And you already had the Cardinals also playing a night game before. So it's kind of like, all right, why are you putting them now on a primetime slot again? And very soon? I figure it's like, okay. Now this is another thing, and this is where I'm getting really sick and tired of. So when I see the Cowboys and the Eagles are playing on Sunday night, because I'm not fully reminded of the Sunday night schedule, I'm like, oh, they need to switch this shit out. And I guess it's like, why we're seeing, because Dallas is putting in a third stringer and it's in Philadelphia, which I can understand, but it's like, are you fucking kidding me? You got a premier, you already switched the Ravens out of their bye. This was supposed to be their initial bye week. You switched it out to face this team and you don't give them a prime slot, which everybody knows this is the prime rivalry game in the NFL today. And you got them doing a 1:00 game? Are you fucking kidding me? And we're stuck with Dallas and Philly on a Sunday night. And Dallas has always been on either a Sunday night game more so and more often. And they have been ratchetly, stupidly, fucking horrible to watch. Why?
And it's even worse this year. They're even worse because they got a backup quarterback, third stringer that nobody knows or cares about. This is I'm anticipating that NBC will have one of their lowest rated Sunday night football games ever. And then perhaps they'll learn. Now, I don't know if this was a scheduled game from the beginning of the season.
This was scheduled.
Because they booked the games based off last year's record and last year's how the teams played last year. And I don't think they get the ability to switch games until the end, until the last month of the season. Then they can flex. They call it the flex.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And they can flex games in and out and whatever. But they aren't able to do it in the regular season, but they did it with the Vegas Tampa. I don't know. Maybe that was a COVID thing or what.
No. This is, I mean, it's here's the thing. Okay, I just saw the records. Last year, Dallas was 8-8 and didn't make the playoffs. Mind you, throughout the history of when they do the scheduling, and especially since they've added Sunday night and Monday night, and with the addition to the Monday night games, and it's like they want to try to show the premier games, especially now that NBC took over. They want to see the premier teams, especially former playoff teams, face each other. So it's either, and lately Monday night games have been pretty interesting with some of the games.
Monday night has been getting the marquee matchups this year.
Right. So because basically ESPN has been kind of been moderately complaining. It's like, why do we keep getting these junky teams? So, but surprisingly enough, they've been getting some decent matchups lately. But the Sunday night games has always been kind of the premier games, and it's like, why you keep showing us Dallas? because Dallas always gets at least 3 or 4 games on a Sunday night, which I never understood. And it's like, I do not want to see Dallas all the time. And here's the funny thing, because the ruling is like, if a team didn't make the playoffs, they're not going to get a primetime game unless it's going to push them to Monday night, because they're not going to be on national television in a sense. Since it'll be on ESPN, at least they're seen that way. But on NBC, it's like, no, we just want to see the former playoff teams go against each other, or at least as the season progresses, if an interesting game comes up. But Dallas and Philly is not interesting.
So here's the schedule for Sunday Night Football. This week, Dallas, Philadelphia. Next week, New Orleans, Tampa Bay.
That's a premier event.
Then the week after, Baltimore at New England. Then they're going to get their Vegas game after all. It's going to be Kansas City at Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
Thanksgiving, we got Baltimore at Pittsburgh. Then week 12, Chicago, Green Bay.
Blech.
Then it gets worse. Week 13. Now these ones, these are flex games here. They can flex out of these here. Starting with the Chicago Green Bay game, they can flex out of that. They're going to flex out of this next one, Denver and Kansas City. They got to flex out of that.
Yeah.
Then you got Pittsburgh and Buffalo, pretty good. Week 15, they're going to have to flex out of that too. San Francisco and Dallas.
Yeah.
And then Tennessee and Green Bay. It says there's another one on 1/3/21, but it's to be determined. So maybe
because that usually because the last few years, if it's for a divisional title matchup, like the divisional title championship game, they'll play that. So depending on who's the big teams and all that stuff. But
so they got a pretty good coming schedule, with the exception of Denver at Kansas City and San Francisco, Dallas. So and they do get their little Vegas game, which is Kansas City and Las Vegas.
Yeah.
So with the exception of this week, the weeks after look pretty good all the way up until December 6th, which I got a problem with, because nobody's gonna watch Denver and Kansas City.
Yeah, but again, it's like every year whenever I look at the NFL schedule and their Sunday nighter games, and I see Dallas in there 3 times, and they're always the premier Sunday night game. I mean, they've been doing that for the last few years. It's either Dallas against the Giants or Dallas against the Eagles, and I'm like, I'm done with that shit. It's like Dallas is not America's team. Mind you, that was their moniker back in the 70s. They brought that back in the 90s, but really, it's not my team to watch. Put them on freaking Fox and call it a day. I do not need to see these guys.
I need that. Yeah, I think after this week, and once they see the ratings, Dallas will not be on any more Sunday night games for the rest of the year. They're gonna flex the hell out of those. All of them.
They need to. Yeah. I mean, how much? I mean, it's bad enough that Al Michaels and Chris Collinsworth have to talk about these guys, and there's nothing new to talk about. Yeah. Except, it's like they're this bad again.
And plus, Al Michaels is 75 years old, and they already are lightening his load. He don't want to do a shit game. Al Michaels wants something that's worth coming out. 75 years old, man. COVID out here. If I'm gonna come out of this house and risk getting COVID, give me a good game. Shit.
Yeah, I'll go to Vegas. That's what. Here's the funny thing.
I bet you Al won't be there this week. It'll be Chris and the other guy. It won't be Al.
Probably. Yeah. Because it's like, why bother?
Al ain't going there this week. I'd be surprised if you see Al Michaels in Philadelphia.
Yeah. So, shit. Oh boy. But anyway, I'm hoping for a good game between the Ravens and Steelers. I'm praying for the Ravens to beat this team, because so that way, I'm tired. Because when the Steelers are undefeated, that's when the Steeler fans get very arrogant and very rude and very stupefied and annoying. And I'm just like, it's like the last thing you want to see is like, we beat you guys. We're 7-0. We're blah, blah, blah.
I'm going to say this. Sunday's game is going to be a measuring stick for Lamar Jackson. Sunday, he needs to beat Pittsburgh, because Lamar Jackson in games that count does not win. So this week,
last season.
Say what?
He beat Pittsburgh last season.
Was Big Ben there?
If that's what you're saying, see, that's what you need to say. If you're saying with
Pittsburgh wasn't at full
with
strength.
Ben as the quarterback, that's one
Ben,
thing.
the Steelers are a completely different team when Ben is at the quarterback position. Sorry, that's the truth. Now he needs to beat Pittsburgh this week. Okay, he has to beat. He's lost to what's the Kansas City boy? What's his name?
Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes has beaten him a couple of times. Every time it's a playoff team, he loses. I'm sorry, Lamar Jackson has got to show up this week, and he's got to throw some touchdown passes as well as run. But we got to be. If we don't beat Pittsburgh this week, and Lamar Jackson throws 97 passing yards,
back on that,
we got a problem. Like, brother, you good? You're a great talent, but I can see right now you're not going to take us over. You're going to take us to the hump, but you're not going to take us over the hump, and that's all that matters. So he's got to beat Pittsburgh, who's at full strength now. He's got to beat him this week.
All right. I'm going to say this again. Lamar is the quarterback. He's just one dude. and I'm going to say this again, that loss to the Chiefs, that's a defensive thing. And I think their defense has improved with Yannick Ngakoue coming in. I really think it's as much as you want to put a lot of emphasis on Lamar and what he needs to do, it's like it's that defense that also needs is like you need to stop, you need to tackle Ben, get him off, get those 3 and outs and get them off the field, because the main thing is that's how you stop Ben. You keep him off that field. And you keep him stuffing out and you do what and you grind it out on the offense.
You beat Ben by applying pressure. That's how you beat Ben.
That's true. Yeah.
Ben ain't running nowhere. Ben ain't running nowhere. You blitz. If I was deep, I blitz Ben on every down. Every fucking down, Ben's getting blitzed. You let Ben sit back in the pocket, he'll tear you apart. I don't care how old he is. Now, when it comes to Lamar Jackson, okay, yeah, defense obviously has to stop Pittsburgh. But here's the thing. We can't put up 97 passing yards.
But that's if we're scoring.
We need to score, and I don't care what you say or anybody else says. If we put up 97 passing yards, we're not going to the Super Bowl.
This is a team that went to the Super Bowl. If you remind you, history lesson, that went for 6 weeks without scoring a touchdown.
What year was this?
And won games with it.
What year was this?
This was the first Super Bowl year.
2001.
Huh?
2000
years ago.
Right? And what year is this?
Yes.
What year is this?
This is 2000.
Totally different game. Totally different game. And bear in mind, we had somebody who passed the ball. Trent Dilfer, as bad as people may say he was.
Keep in mind, Trent Dilfer came in after week 9.
Okay. Yeah. Defense won it. So that's even more pressure on Lamar. If your defense isn't as good as 2001, now you're really going to have to show up. Because if Pittsburgh beats us 34-31, Lamar, you got my respect. And Lamar showed off running and passing, but he still lost. I'm cool with that. But if Pittsburgh beats us 31-10 or 31-14 with Lamar Jackson running for 2 touchdowns and throwing for 80 yards, we got a problem. We got a problem because you say, well, the quarterback is one part. Okay, you take Patrick Mahomes off of Kansas City. Who you got? You got an 8-8 team. So, yes, the quarterback does fucking matter, and he needs to show up, both throwing and running. Running is I ain't got no issue. He going to run. There's no defense in the league that's going to stop Lamar Jackson running the ball. But Lamar Jackson, at the end of the day, teams are going to, somebody's going to stop him one day from running. And what do you have left? You have to throw the ball and throw it accurately. That's what he has to do. He's a quarterback. And 97 yards with 150 rushing yards, I don't give a fuck who you are, is not going to win a Super Bowl. There's never been a quarterback in the history, a running quarterback in the history who runs and doesn't throw the ball a lot to win a Super Bowl. Name one. Name one out of 54, whatever years of Super Bowl that a quarterback has been like that.
Not one.
So throw the ball.
Well, we're gonna throw this out, so we'll see. We'll see what happens on Sunday. So, anyway, we've ranted and
Yes,
we really rant because like again we ate a lot of good old sports cereal and we're puking it all out because some of the stuff was bad. But anyway, where can people find you, Trump? Because I believe you're back on social media in a sense.
I'm back on social media. I don't know how long. I miss posting funny, stupid shit, which is the main reason I'm on there. I like to post funny memes and do stupid shit. So I'm on there for now. And at Mr. Boss T, that's MRBOST. Also, follow Rip Gaming Club at Rip Gaming Club, because I'm gonna tell you, the next show we'll have more in depth, and I promise I'll have some guests, and I'll have some actual footage and shit too. So follow at Rip Gaming Club on Instagram. If you're a gamer, competitive gamer, you want to know more about it, hit us up. And the next No Filter Sports, I'll have more information.
Yes. As for No Filter Sports, it's no_filter_sports_2.5 on Instagram, and I'm Brian3SL on Twitter. So anyway, thank you again for listening to us, seeing us here on No Filter Sports. We will see you next time. Maybe we'll be more calmer then. Yes. You never know.
Who knows? It's 2020. There's nothing you can be calm about.
No. So see you next time, folks.